Hello internet friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lindsay or Lijo, and today we are going to be speaking about the single observers, the IJs and the EPs, and what it means to be stuck with things, the control and chaos of things. So there may be a personal story that has brought this upon us with this video. So let's just get started. If you'd like to talk to me about this subject or anything related to the cognitive functions and your personal journey, you can book a session with me below on my platform, Snug. So here we go. So many of you are familiar with the objective personality language, relating IJs and EPs to single observers, having that N and S function, no matter which one is first, on the poles, the first and the last function in the function stack. And these are the functions that we tend to get the most stuck with, the first and the last, different than the EJs and the IPs, which get stuck with the self and tribe dynamic. So I was taught a very humbling lesson on what it means to be stuck as a single observer by nothing else than a toilet this week. So several months ago, there was a bidet ordered, and myself, as the INTJ I am, said, I will figure it out. I will figure out how to install the thing. No need to get anyone else involved. But I also didn't feel like actually doing the sensory or actually dealing with it. So as a result, it's sat around the house for multiple months. I did attempt to start it one time where I got frustrated with the toilet seat. That's a whole other thing. And then I put it back in the box where it remained for several more weeks. But then yesterday, it was time. I had to seize the bidet. And here's the thing, I understood the principles of how to set it up. It's actually pretty easy. However, the execution of it, it's less easy. But actually in the beginning, everything was going good. I had all the beginning pieces kind of set up, screwed in, but I ran into some trouble where I had to basically take a certain part off of the tank of the toilet itself. Now, I had done all the precautions. I had turned off the water. I had drained the tank to the best of my ability, but of course there's still water in there. So at this point now the water's starting to come out, and I'm trying to, unscrew this piece from the toilet itself. And it's just this one part that I'm trying to unscrew. And now I'm starting to get pissed and angry. And now I'm starting to take this battle with the toilet extremely personally. My blood pressure is raising because I know what needs to happen. I just can't get the thing to unscrew. So I keep cranking away at it. Between this and other happenings of trying to get it off, an hour has now passed of me futzing around with this thing. Then I discover that I have been leveraging my turn in the wrong direction. Like, listen, it was hard to turn it both ways. Usually it's righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, but not with this toilet. So things have been jangling around on the inside of the toilet. Finally, I got this thing to turn in the other direction. Now over 2 hours has gone past. I get the pieces connected. I get the threading on there. I tighten this thing up. Finally, okay, it's on. Okay. So now I'm trying to kind of like clean everything up. Like there was the pieces that got dislodged in the toilet. I'm trying to reattach those because I was jangling everything around before. I attach those back. I turn on the water. I fill up the tank. And then I get to test the bidet. And like the thing actually works. So like after 2 hours of struggle, I'm like, oh, finally, like this thing works. I was frustrated, I was pissed, but I won the sensory battle. It was worth it. I vanquished it. But then I see a little washer, a little rubber washer on the sink. And I realized that that piece that I was struggling to put on, that washer was supposed to go inside. And as a result, I will likely have a leaking toilet, which I can already see water starting to leak out. So I was like, crap. Okay, it's already late. I'm not gonna do this tonight. I'm gonna put this washer with the tools. I'm gonna do it in the morning. So I put it with the tools. I put instructions with the tools. I, again, turn off the water, empty the tank because I know it's probably gonna leak overnight. And that is that. So the next morning I get up and I'm like, I'm just gonna knock this thing out. I wanna take care of it. I want the sensory to be over with. And I go and look in the bathroom, and of course there's a good bit of water everywhere, which I expected because not all of the water was able to leave the tank. Okay, some residual, no big deal. I'm gonna get this washer on. So I take off the top, I start unscrewing the piece, and then I go look for the washer that I had with the tools. It's not there. So now I have literal missing sensory. And I'm like, I know I placed it with the tools. I know that it was right here. Why can't I find it? Am I blind? Possibly, but why can't I find it? So I'm looking everywhere at this point for this stupid little black washer. I'm tracing my steps anywhere it could have gone. I'm looking under things. I'm using a flashlight. Over 30 minutes goes by. And then there was at least an additional 10 minutes of me looking for other things I could use instead of that washer that would fit and kind of do the same thing. I couldn't find anything. At this point, like, I am full-blown raging because I thought I had vanquished the sensory, and it has come back and full-blown attacked me with a vengeance. So now the battle is super personal, and I am angry, and I am over this stupid bidet, this stupid toilet, but I cannot let it win. It is a personal battle, me versus bidet. Me versus bidet plus the little small things that get lost. So a few hours later, I go to Home Depot. I take quite a bit of time to go find this stupid little washer. Luckily, some nice gentleman is able to help me find the washer, and definitely in this section that you would not expect those kind of washers, because it wasn't even in plumbing, it was in repairs, a whole different side of Home Depot. Anyway, so I get the little thing, I come back to the house, and I'm like, square in the eyes, it's you and me, toilet. One of us is gonna win, and I'm not gonna be the one losing. So I take the little rubber beveled washer, now I know what it's called, I undo the thing, I stick it in there, I re-screw it back on. I'm like, okay, cool, like I got it back in, turn back on the water, fill up the tank, and it starts leaking. So I was like, okay, maybe my threading is wrong. So I have to do the whole thing again. I turn off the water. At this point, I'm like kind of over emptying the tank. So like there's just water coming out at this point. And I go and I'm making sure like I have the threading on right. It's going up. I'm screwing it on as hard as I can. Still leaks. Try it again, take it off, re-screw it back on. Still leaking. At this point, I have devoted well over 4 hours to this personal, anger-fueled battle with the toilet and the bidet. And at this point, I'm like, okay, it's probably this part of the seal. It's probably not actually this bevel, because I probably, turned something broke when I was trying to unscrew this thing originally. And that's why this water is leaking out now, because this bevel is stopping the water where it would have been in this other area. And I am just completely just starting to elevate more and more. I'm ready to go like get the aqua glue. I'm ready to go like get the plumber's putty. I'm ready to take this toilet and just, if I have to duct tape this whole thing to make it stop leaking and to have this thing just work, I am ready to do that, right? Full blown INTJ observer rage. So as I'm at this point, right, well past 4 hours in, do you know what I decided to do? All of a sudden I was like, no, like I'm tapping out, I'm calling a plumber. Call up the plumber. They're coming in on Monday, okay? So they're coming. I told them what I did. I was like, hey, I was trying to install a bidet. I made a big mess. I need you to come. And they're like, oh, no problem. Despite the PTSD I have from the whole situation itself, clearly still trying to relax myself from, I feel quite better now since a plumber is coming to deal with it and I no longer have to. But then I started to ask myself, why did it take me so long to tap out? Why did I feel so personally invested in this battle with the toilet that it took me over 4 hours to contact someone to help me with the plumbing? And I think the thing is, especially for me, is like, I knew then, and I still know now, that if I put enough time and effort into it, I could figure it out. I could win the battle against the toilet. But at what cost? Angry, annoyed, spend way too much time thinking about it, spend way too much time invested in it. This is the definition of stuck. So where is the contrast here? So the double observers, the ones who have S and N in the middle of their stack, well, they get frustrated with things too. They have similar observer problems that happen, right? But the difference is they're not getting stuck, because instead of spending 4 hours dealing with the toilet and the bidet, they spend maybe 30 minutes getting frustrated and do it. Then they call the plumber. They call the plumber then instead of making it a personal battle between the control and the chaos of things. So I tell you this story for two reasons. One is to act as its own metaphor for how single observers get stuck with things. But more importantly, it's a lesson on knowing it's okay to tap out early. Just because the battle feels personal doesn't mean it's actually personal. Look at the double observers. They're tapping out just fine. So why single observers are we allowing ourselves to get stuck in this cycle of dealing with the control and chaos of things before we allow ourselves to look for that outside perspective? And that's what I leave you with today. So that's it for this video. Remember to seize the bidet and what it has to teach you. I will see you guys in my next video. Till next time, goodbye, internet friends.